But speaking of people that might not that might respect a simple story, or at least appreciate something that's a little more understandable, what do you think the best Dragon Quest would be for a newcomer to the series? Maybe a newcomer to the series, or even a newcomer to RPGs in general. Like, what do you think on that?
Hmm. What is the best Dragon Quest to start? It really depends on the person. Let's say I'm just dealing with like an average gamer
Hmm.
or like just average consumer of games in the modern era. I genuinely think that they appreciate like more of a visual storytelling piece than more of like a text space.
Okay.
And so I think that they would thrive mostly off of 8 or 11. The hard part for me is just that I haven't finished either of them, but I've put a considerable amount of time into both. I had played 8 on the 3DS for 30 hours and 11 on Switch. I finished the demo and then I kind of just stopped. For a newcomer, 11 is probably the best place to start because you get a good taste of some pretty powerful stories, even within like the first short duration of the game. And it's accessible and it has a lot of the traits that are known and beloved in the series and told within arguably one of the best visual and audio mediums possible.
Hmm.
You know, you can play it, it's also accessible on every modern platform. And so, like, to get you interested in the series, 11 is probably the best place to start. Is it my favorite? Well, that's a different question.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you. I think 11 is likely the best place to start. Although I think there's a strong contender for 8, especially on the 3DS, although it's not as popular nowadays. But the Switch, it's hard to argue with playing Dragon Quest 11 on the Switch. It's a given. But yeah, 11 is probably the best. It's the best looking. It's got the most in-depth mechanics. If you've played RPGs before and are looking to get started, I think I might even recommend 5 to be like, okay, let's give you something you probably haven't experienced in an RPG before that's also really charming. And I think 5 might even be a good starting place for an experienced RPG player who's just getting into Dragon Quest.
Sure. I mean, for an RPG player who really appreciates like the story components of an RPG, 5 is one of the best.
Hmm.
It has one of like just the most well-rounded and heartfelt stories of the series
Yeah.
as like a core experience. Let's say you're an RPG player that prefers gameplay over storytelling. You haven't tried a Dragon Quest, but you want a Dragon Quest with good gameplay. Where would you send them?
I think maybe 7, the remake, because it has the most like grindable like the development opportunity, maybe. Like if you're like an SMT guy, like you really like digging into the mechanics and digging into all the, like, how do I make my character super strong and how do I do all this? I think 7 has the most of that they could enjoy. I don't know. How about you?
I'll throw a monkey wrench here and say, for now, it might be 9.
That's a good
Ni-
point.
9 might be the best gameplay wise because of just the full on character customization, the quests to unlock new character classes, the visibility of your armor,
Mm.
and even just challenges like completing the bestiary or completing quests. I think there's a satisfaction to that in 9. And while the game is flawed in more ways than one, I think generally the gameplay is good. Now there is a caveat that I think that when the remake comes out for Dragon Quest 3, that may be the best.
Mm. I'd be curious what they do with that remake, if they actually like change things or if they keep it the same. If they keep it the same, I think I'd still go with 7. But if they like really revamp that job system and add a bunch of jobs and add a bunch of stuff, dude, that you're right. That could be #1, and it looks beautiful too. So that doesn't hurt.
That's a plus.
I'm so excited for that. I can't wait for that remake to see what they do with that.
What's the best Dragon Quest to turn off newcomers?
2.
Ever wanting to play another one of the series?
2 might be unplayable if you don't know what you're doing.
I mean, same argument for 10. 10 is like what you tried it, right?
Well, I think if I didn't have to jump through so many hoops to just turn it on, I might be more apt to it. Although the controls, from what I played, maybe somebody's found a way around this, but the controls are really shit. But maybe it's hard to say with 10. I want to give it a fair shake before I truly condemn it.
That's fine.
But 2 would be very do not if you're new to the series, do not play 2. Just don't. Give it a couple.
I can't see why you would. I don't know who would start this series and be like, yeah, I think I'll start with Dragon Quest 2.
Well, there are people that just to spite you will pick the thing you least recommend. I've met people like that who'd be like, you trying to tell me not to do it? I'm going to do it. It's like, oh my God. All right.
That's like starting up this Game Boy cartridge being like, do I pick Dragon Warrior 1 or Dragon Warrior 2? You know what? I think I'll pick 2 because it's the more recent game. What? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. What do you think is the biggest turnoff game?
It's 2.
2, yeah.
No, it's. I mean, I always get turned off by 6, but I at least make it like 5 hours in. I championed through 2 with you because like I cared, but I couldn't see most people who don't really care doing that.
Yeah.
So,
2 is a labor of love.
Yeah.
It
was
tough.
It's fun though. I appreciated things about it.
Yeah.
Best Dragon Quest spinoff that you've played.
Ooh.
For a newcomer.
Oh, for a newcomer?
Yeah.
Probably the Heroes series. Like that game is just fun and doesn't take a lot. You get a good taste of Dragon Quest with it. Probably Heroes.
Okay. I think I'd go Monsters Joker. I don't know. Great gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, fun monster taming and all that. It's not my favorite in the series, but I think it represents a lot of what the series is about.
Well, yeah, and you can easily be, because Pokemon is so huge still, you could be like, well, if you like Pokemon, you'll really like this. And then there you go. There's a great gateway on that.
Yeah. The Dragon Quest Pokemon pipeline.
Yeah. Well,
just imagining like a link cable, you know, between 2 Game Boys. Like you see like Pikachu become a slime halfway through.
Yeah. What's the ironic part is that the Dragon Quest Monsters series is really good and arguably better than Pokemon, although obviously not nearly as successful. But it is better in a lot of ways, and it'd be interesting to compare the 2. Maybe we'll do that maybe we do that on the archive and then we roll that out.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
By the way, this whole episode is just a commercial for our other channels. So there you go.
Yeah. I did a ranking on Alex's channel, Turbo Zone.
There you go. We got all of them in there.
Check out Alex.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.